After leaving the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve made a new home in the land of Nod. They worked hard every day. Adam dug in the soil and planted seeds, while Eve gathered fruits and berries. They missed the beautiful garden, but they learned to be thankful for their new home that God had given them. One special day, Eve gave birth to their first baby boy. "I have been blessed with a son with the help of God," Eve exclaimed with joy. They named him Cain, which means acquired. Adam and Eve loved their little boy and taught him about God who created everything. Soon after, Eve gave birth to another baby boy. They named him Abel, which means breath. Abel had bright eyes and a gentle smile. Now Adam and Eve had two sons to love and care for. The brothers played together and learned from their parents about God's love. As Cain grew older, he became interested in growing things. He loved to feel the soil between his fingers and watch seeds sprout into plants. Cain became a farmer who worked the land. He planted wheat, barley, and many kinds of fruits and vegetables. Every day, he tended his fields with care. Abel was different from his brother. He loved animals and became a shepherd. He led his sheep to green pastures and still waters. He protected them from wild animals and helped the little lambs when they were born. Abel took great care of each sheep in his flock. Adam and Eve taught their sons about God. God created everything, they explained. He gives us all good things. To show our thanks, we should bring him offerings from our work. The boys listened carefully as their parents explained how to worship God with grateful hearts. One day, Cain and Abel decided to bring offerings to God. Cain walked through his fields, gathering fruits and vegetables for his offering. Abel went to his flock, looking for the perfect lamb to give to God. Both brothers prepared to show their gratitude to their Creator. Abel chose the very best lamb from his flock, the firstborn, healthy and without any flaws. He prepared his offering with great care and a humble heart. "This is my very best," Abel thought. "I want to give God my best because he is so good to me." Cain gathered some of his crops for his offering. He picked fruits and vegetables from his fields but didn't select the best ones. "This should be enough," Cain thought as he prepared his offering. His heart wasn't fully focused on honoring God. When Abel presented his offering, God was pleased. A warm light shone down from heaven upon Abel's gift. Abel felt joy in his heart knowing that God had accepted his offering. God smiled upon Abel because his heart was right. And he had given his very best. When Cain presented his offering, there was no light from heaven. God did not accept Cain's offering because Cain had not given his best, and his heart was not right. Cain noticed that God was pleased with Abel's gift but not with his own. Cain's face grew red with anger. He frowned and clenched his fists. "It's not fair," he thought. Jealousy filled his heart as he watched his brother receive God's favor. Cain was very upset that God had accepted Abel's offering but not his own. God saw Cain's anger and spoke to him kindly. "Why are you angry, Cain? If you do what is right, won't you be accepted too? But if you refuse to do what is right, sin is waiting to take of you. You must master it." God wanted to help Cain make the right choice. Cain didn't listen to God's warning. The anger in his heart grew stronger. One day, Cain said to Abel, "Let's go out to the field together." Abel trusted his brother and agreed to go. He didn't know that Cain had bad thoughts in his heart. When they reached the field, far from their parents' sight, Cain let his anger take control. In a terrible moment, Cain attacked his brother Abel. Cain had allowed jealousy and anger to rule his heart, and he did something that could never be undone. Abel fell to the ground. Later, God spoke to Cain. "Where is your brother Abel?" God asked. even though he already knew what had happened. God was giving Cain a chance to tell the truth and be sorry for what he had done. "I don't know," Cain lied. "Am I my brother's keeper?" But God knows everything. Nothing can be hidden from him. God said to Cain, "What have you done? Listen. Your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground," God told Cain. "Because of what you have done, the ground will no longer yield good crops for you, no matter how hard you work. You will wander the earth, never able to settle in one place." Cain's sin had serious consequences. Cain was afraid and said, "My punishment is more than I can bear." God, being merciful even when punishing sin, put a mark on Cain to protect him from being killed. Then Cain left his family and went to live in the land of Nod, east of Eden. The story of Cain and Abel teaches us important lessons. God wants us to give our best to Him with a loving heart. Jealousy and anger can lead to terrible choices if we don't control them. God knows everything we do, and our actions have consequences. But even when we do wrong, God is merciful and gives us chances to make things right. Another whisper from the past, now fading into the night. Thanks for listening. Subscribe for more sleepy stories from history. And until next time,